Good evening and welcome back. I'm Shelby Coates, and Jay Davis joins us from James W. Davis and Associates for It's the Law. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, well, we are talking about a Georgia ruling here. A federal judge rules a portion of Georgia's new and controversial election law is likely unconstitutional, granting a preliminary injunction on that portion of the law. So, first, what portion of the election law are we talking about?
We're talking primarily about the restrictions on photography by virtually anyone within the voting polling or with regard to the absentee polling. There was a larger portion that was relevant to the 11 days, whether or not it was appropriate to restrict absentee voting to being requested more 11 days or more out and that type of things. They chose not to address those issues because it had been 3 months that the law had been in effect, and that putting any kind of stay on that was not upholding the status quo, but was actually changing it. So they chose not to address anything other than the photography.
All right, so kind of explain the injunction. Why is it likely considered unconstitutional?
The injunction is to not allow the law to go into effect, which would have made it illegal to photograph your vote, even the person that's casting the vote. There's some reasons why these things may be the case. For example, selling a vote or having people who will pay for you showing that you voted a certain way. There are some things along those lines. There's also some privacy issues, but if you're photographing your own vote, your privacy is not at issue. But people within the polling station or people who are working there, their photographing could be. But the judge said it's just too wide and broad sweeping the way it is written, and they're likely to have success on that portion, and therefore they're not going to make those activities criminal, which was the law put into effect.
All right, so the law's in place, but we do have that injunction for a portion. What happens next?
The next thing is the entire issues that were brought before the court will go before the court and be heard on all of the issues. Some of those may still win on those. The judge declined to say even whether or not they were constitutional. He basically said on those other issues, you waited too late. They've already gone into effect. There's already plans for that. There's voting polls with at least 2 districts that are underway and at the moment, and therefore we're not going to change it right in midstream. But they will hear all of the issues, including the 11-day, whether or not 11 days is appropriate for an early request for your absentee ballots.
All righty, Jay, thank you so much for breaking all that down for us.